Hello and welcome to Citizen Speak. My name is Garrett Martin. I'm your host. Thank you for listening. I want to talk about the effects that ISIS has been having here in America. Now, you have some people who they talk really big about ISIS and how they're weak, and then ISIS does a big attack somewhere in the world, and then you see them just crack into panic mode. I'm talking about people like Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee, Donald Trump, Bill O'Reilly. They're giving in to exactly what ISIS wants. ISIS wants people to be afraid. This is the whole point of terrorism. They want to create a state of fear that people live in and always be looking over their back. Well, guess what, guys? You gave into it. And also, we have schools that are giving into it. I get staying on the side of precaution, but you have schools that are keeping out soldiers as well when they come to their kids' classrooms, when they're in uniform. And we should be embracing our soldiers. We should be proud to have them in uniform when they come into the schools and show the kids what a hero looks like. Not saying, oh, sorry, you can't come into the school, you have to change first, because we don't want the kids to be worried that something's going to happen or that we don't want to offend anybody. I get it, not wanting to offend somebody with, let's say, a parent comes to school and he has a t-shirt on that says that he hates gay people or hates black people. Yeah, that's fine. Ask him to change then. But an American hero, don't ask him to change his uniform so he can come into your school. That's completely ridiculous. And it's giving in to what groups like ISIS wants to happen. They want people to be afraid. They want people to question the values that we pride ourselves on. They want us to create a police state so that way our freedoms get taken away, because that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of our freedom. Hands down, there's nothing more scary to a dictator or an oppressive people than freedom, because it shows people that they can be who they want to be, and it doesn't matter if there's somebody out there who doesn't like it, because freedom's going to prevail. I sound like I'm going to start writing a country song with talk like this, but it's true. I get the fear when it comes to the refugees, and I get the fear when it comes to ISIS, but we have systems in place. And it also sucks because there is going to be an attack that happens. Nobody knows when or where, the average people, but we get intel reports all the time. And sometimes they're acted on and sometimes they're not, and hopefully they're acted on more than they're not acted on. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you got to keep living your life as if everything's okay. Because nothing's actually changed in your daily life. This stuff has been going on for a long time now, and most people just haven't noticed it. But now that there's a big attack, it's in your face. And I get that it scares a lot of people. But what you have to do is just look at how long ISIS has been committing these terror attacks, or how long Al-Qaeda has been doing their terrorist attacks, or what other countries are in the world that are mistreating their people and committing atrocities on those people. If you look at all of this and then you look at your daily life, all this stuff has been happening in your life this entire time. So for people just to cower in fear, that's exactly what ISIS wants. They want people to be afraid, so they lash out and pass laws that are asinine to have, or they oppress people, or it sparks them into war. They want those things. They want us to go into war, they want us to betray our values, and they want us to mistreat our people. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And the ridiculous thing is you have somebody like Donald Trump, who is still in the top of the polls for Republicans. But he wants to close all mosques. And if you were listening for a while, I did a podcast on this back when he first said it, before this ISIS attack, and how that'd be unconstitutional, for one, but it doesn't matter what religion it is. He wouldn't be able to close any mosques. But then he also wants Muslims to wear special badges, so that way people can identify the Muslims. Well, that sounds an awful lot like what the Nazis were doing before they started up the concentration camps. I'm not calling Donald Trump a Nazi, but that's very Nazi-esque of somebody to do and say, or want to do and say, I should say. So don't give in to the fear. Look at how you can make the world a better place. If you're concerned about all the homeless veterans that are sleeping in the streets, and we need to fix that before we take in any refugees anywhere else, then do your part. Try to fix that problem. If you're concerned about the homeless people or kids starving in your community, do your part. Help out in your area. If you're concerned about the Syrian refugees not finding a place to live at, if you have the means to, do your part. Help out. Help them find a place to live, whether it's with you or anywhere else. Every little bit helps. But turning your back on an entire people, or even your own people, that's very un-American. And speaking of un-American, you got someone like Ted Cruz, who is extremely butthurt now because President Obama called him un-American because his ideas of not letting in the Muslim refugees and only letting in the good Christian refugees. Well, that is un-American because we have separation of church and state. It's not our job to determine who gets into our country based on faith. That's not what America's about. It's not even what we've ever been about. Yeah, we've had Christianity influenced in schools in the past, but thankfully we've rectified that and got it out. We're here so that way everybody's voice is equal in the town square. But if you only allow in the Christians and you start declaring a state religion, then now no one's voice is equal in the town square. The only people who will actually be able to have a say would be the Christians. And I'm sorry, Ted Cruz, but that's fairly un-American. I don't know if he's read the Constitution much, but I would have to say that he would be taking a crap all over it. So let me know what you think in the comments, or find me on Twitter at SitSpeak. And let me know. I really enjoy talking to people, and I try to answer questions. I always love to learn as well. So if I'm wrong on something, let me know. I honestly want to know. And I want to hear your take on things. So make sure you find me on Twitter at SitSpeak. That's CITZ Speak. All right, I'm your host, Garrett Martin. Thank you for listening today.